What's up, squad? This is Brandon from the Bantu Sun. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to talk on the latest story coming out of Saudi Arabia regarding oil prices. And Saudi Arabia has just had a slight increase of price for oil in the coming month of March. And the reason why Saudi Arabia is increasing the price on oil is because they're attributing this aspect to rising demand from China and India due to the facts of sanctions on Russia. So the reason why this story is very important is because of a couple of reasons actually. Well, one, you have the elephant in the room. The key war that the US is engaged with directly, indirectly right now is the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, this war has been a bitter grind. I've seen some of the stories. It is brutal. It is inch by inch, and it is atrocious. And a lot of animosity is being built up on both sides, and it truly is a grind. And the Americans, or Trump, said he wanted to end this war. And what he believes is the crux of Russia's ability to carry this war out is in its oil prices. Russia has, I believe, been cornered, and right now they're fighting a war that I believe they have to fight, especially after losing their point in Syria with President Assad losing his leadership position within that country. Basically, Russia losing their influence within that country because their man is no longer in power. So the only thing that's really sustaining Russia right now is the wealth they're gaining on resources. Don't forget when its initially went down, a lot of sanctions came on Russia, market shut down, bank sanctions, etc., as well as sanctions on top tier individuals within the country. So from a globalist point of view, as far as especially dealing with the West, Russia is very limited in the things it can do. What has sustained it and has allowed it to carry this war out to such a degree and show such strength is they were very, President Putin, whether it was being prudent or he saw the writing on the wall, Russia was in a very good position. He had very good, strong reserves, whether you're talking about foreign currency, gold, as well as this bevy of national resources that come with being the largest country in the world. So, what Trump says is if the Saudis, who is a key player, the leader of proven reserves within OPEC, they don't have the largest reserve in the world, but they're pretty much considered as the player, cornering as much as a quarter to a third of global oil markets, global oil exports. The If the Saudis adjust their price, they can through production or limiting their oil, right? So if they produce more oil, it's going to sink the price, and if they cut oil production, they'll increase the price. So what Trump wants them to do is to flood the world with oil, drive the price down, bankrupt the Russians, and then the Russians would therefore sue to for peace. So that's very. This is going to be in contradiction to that, and this is getting very interesting because the Saudis, who I believe haven't really played as pivotal role as they should have, given their standing in the world. As I said, being a major player of OPEC and pretty much being synonymous with global oil power. The Saudis also have a situation now where Trump is threatening to take over Gaza, and they explicitly came out that they are extremely behind the two-state solution. And if there's no two-state solution, there's no real opportunity for a chance of a relationship for Israel. So you have them challenging Trump on an idea of clearing out Gaza, which Trump has proposed Americans clear out Gaza, and therefore it won't be a two-state solution, obviously. And then you have them challenging him again on this idea of oil prices as they continue to rise. And as I said, they're really banking these oil prices on rising demand from China and India. And some people argue that point because they say with these tariffs, there may be an economic slowdown, But as of now, Saudi Arabia continues to see the demand for oil and those two large markets continuing. So this really puts pretty much one of America's great allies in the Middle East. I don't want to say top ally, right? But Saudi Arabia and America have a very, very unique situation going back. Obviously, America inherited this relationship from the close relationships of the British, the Anglos in Saudi Arabia. But America kind of has been the guarantor of peace of Saudi Arabia. Let us not forget it was Saddam Hussein's aggression, um, invading Kuwait, and the potential that he had of invading Saudi Arabia that really started off the first Gulf War and subsequently ended with the American Iraq War when America with its allies eventually invaded Iraq. And Saudi Arabia has been kind of in a bubble. Let's not forget 14 out of 19 hijackers were Saudis, right? And Saudi Arabia has kind of been in this protective bubble by America because of this position. And in doing so, Saudi Arabia has gave a lot of money to American military industrial complex, and they kind of have been left alone considering some egregious things. Let's not forget the butchering of Khashoggi within the embassy in Turkey. And there really wasn't any backlash from America to Saudi Arabia on this abhorrent act. So you have a situation where Saudi Arabia has pretty much gotten away with a lot because America has been, especially Trump, has been very open to their investments because he's know everything they do starts with a B, as in billion or bigger. So, and Saudi Aramco being the largest oil company in the world. So, because of those things, Saudi Arabia has kind of had this get out of jail free pass or this status that they can do no wrong, despite some acts which have been ridiculous. So them challenging Trump on this Israel side, them challenging Trump on this Russia point with the oil prices, I really think this is really going to start a new conversation between these two countries, and we'll see. MBS doesn't seem like a person that really wants to take the political position of Saudi Arabia in a drastically different place. He's been relatively consistent. Thus far, I mean, there was some energy around they want to change the economy because they're too oil reliant. Every Middle East Gulf leader says this thing, but the fundamentals are the same. These are oil states that are drastically rich. They have oil, pretty much nothing else, but they got oil. So we're going to continue to monitor this, and we'll see if President Trump, in response, starts to put the screws to Saudi Arabia to try to bend them to his will. So we're going to look out. Love to hear your comments. Comment below if you have any insight on it. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Until next time, take care. Batu up.